Good afternoon all. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So as all you are probably aware, I'm currently back in Grand Cayman. Right now I'm quarantining at my place after 2 weeks abroad in Canada, which was a fantastic trip. I had a wonderful time visiting my family in both the Toronto area and British Columbia, Vancouver, Victoria, and elsewhere. I had a lovely time. It was a wonderful trip. First of all, I have to give my heartfelt thanks to my fiance Gabby, who actually mentioned about the trip. I wasn't thinking of going, to be honest with you, and then current circumstances allowed me to make the trip for 2 weeks, which was a wonderful time. Went to Toronto first for about 6 days or 7 days, and then the other 7 days in Vancouver. Able to see my mom, my dad, my two grandmothers, my uncles and aunts, and some cousins and friends. So it was a wonderful trip all in all. I really had a wonderful time. Going back this time of year in July in Canada is very pleasant. The weather is very hot as the summertime. Toronto, Ontario was a little bit wet, but very nice weather. Everything's so green there. British Columbia, Vancouver is actually very dry. I'm not sure if anyone follows the news on the CBC, but BC is experiencing a lot of wildfires, unfortunately. So I was able to witness that. As we were driving in the interior, we saw flames that were very close to us that were driving past, and the smoke was very evident too. So that's very sad. Hopefully those fires get under control. Hopefully they get some rain in the forecast. But yeah, it was a wonderful trip. Back here though in Cayman, I'm currently quarantining right now. I have this monitoring bracelet on, which they monitor me. I'm in my place. I can't leave. I'm here for 5 days, 5-day quarantine because I'm doubly vaccinated, which allowed me to go back to Canada, because if you're doubly vaccinated and a Canadian citizen, you can arrive and don't have to do any quarantine, which is fantastic. You also have to produce a negative test. So all that was fairly easy. You had to gather certain documents to travel, get a negative test, and make sure you have your vaccination record. So, it was a little stressful traveling in these times, in these uncertain days. Traveling has been more complicated. It takes a little longer, and preparation for that has been, I would say, it's more detailed to travel these days. So it was a very interesting experience, but again, I loved being back home for 2 weeks, seeing family and friends. It was amazing, simply amazing. So now I want to talk about how I my route, how I got to Canada. So I left on the 13th of July, because there's not many. The only flights that are leaving Grand Cayman, because Cayman border is so closed, there's only Cayman Airways and British Airways flight. So I was able to take a flight from Grand Cayman here to Miami, because they have flights called repatriation flights. I was able to fly from here to Miami, which was like an hour and a half away. Then I had to connect Miami to Atlanta, and Atlanta to Toronto. It was so crazy. Just in the flights, and Cayman Airways, they don't offer you anything. There's no service because they're worried about cross-contamination, all that. Once in the United States, I flew Delta, Miami to Atlanta, Atlanta to Toronto, both Delta flights. And there's regular service. Of course, there's a lot of restrictions that go in place. Everybody has to wear a face mask throughout the flight. The exceptions are if you're eating something continuously or drinking something continuously, but you have to have a face mask on. That was different. In Cayman, we don't wear any masks because we've had no community transmission of COVID-19 for a year and a bit now. But in the States, it's a different thing. Through the airport in Miami, there's people wearing masks, some people aren't wearing masks, and some people have the mask around the chin. It's what's the point of that? So it's very different. It was a bit stressful. Everything was delayed because of the flights and all that. So it was something else. But I got into Atlanta around 5 o'clock. My next flight was at 9:30. I got into Toronto pretty late, actually. Once I got through the immigration, I had to get tested again, another PCR test. Got to the airport, so I got home to my dad's place around 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was a long day of travel. All in all, it was 12 hours of traveling, so that was quite something. But it was worth it, definitely worth it. So then when I was coming back, I ended my trip. I flew from Kelowna, which is a town in the interior of British Columbia. I flew from Kelowna to Toronto, and then the next day I flew from Toronto to Houston, Texas, and Houston, Texas to San Pedro Sula, because I couldn't. Unfortunately, there's no flights that go into Cayman. Well, there are some flights, but they're very they don't happen every week or so. They're very less. Like Cayman Airways flights are always booked up very quick. And the only way to get back to Cayman is from Miami, and those flights don't happen very often, and they're always fully booked too. So I had to transit via Honduras, which was a great opportunity for first of all to meet Gabby's family who lived there. I really had such a splendid time there. Honestly, it was a beautiful country. You know, everybody's heard of Honduras. Unfortunately, they hear about the negative, like it's ridden for crime. You know, it's poor. It's I guess they say unsanitary, but you know, it's a beautiful country. I really enjoyed it. I flew into a city called San Pedro Sula, which is, you know, as I say before, it's not known for their good things. Like it's known for like being one of the most dangerous cities in the world. But it was a truly lovely city. It's situated in its valley, so they have all these like mountains on the side of the city. Lovely people there. Gabby's family lives there. Her sister, her nieces, and her mom. We had a lovely time there. I had a lovely time there. We all had a nice time there. We went to this place called Jehovah Lake, which is this massive lake north of the city. Had a wonderful time there. The next day, we drove to La Ceiba, which is a city on the coast of Honduras, which Cayman Airways flies directly from La Ceiba to Grand Cayman. And that was how I was able to come back to Cayman. So I came back, I arrived on the Thursday. I got back to my place in the afternoon around 4 o'clock or so. It was only like an hour and like 15-minute flight from La Ceiba. Very close, very beautiful flight because you're over the water and the beautiful Caribbean Sea. And yeah, I got in here and I began my quarantine on Friday, day 1, and I'm currently on day 3 on the Sunday. So yeah, I just want to give you a share of my experiences on the road, and traveling through multiple airports was an adventure. Definitely worth it, 100%. I would do it again in a heartbeat. You know, anything is worth to see your family, friends, and your loved ones. So I just wish that Gabby was able to join me on this trip, but I know that next time we will definitely do all those things together. So it has been a lot of thunder. You actually see a rainbow out there. It's been a quiet afternoon. Here on my last day quarantining. I get tested tomorrow morning, and then bearing any setbacks, I'll be released tomorrow, guys. I wanted to just go over again quarantining in Cayman. It is my first time to quarantine here in the island. This is this piece of paper that they give you. All the information says "Stay safe." Cayman information sheet. Cayman Islands government quarantine at residence program. You're given a phone when you come to the airport. The phone has an app where it tracks you. It says I'm in quarantine. Along with this bracelet you have, they track your movements at all times. You have to make sure you have to keep the phone charged above 30%. On the back, they have all the do's and don'ts about the mobile device, all this other kind of information, which is pretty useful. They have a number if you need any assistance, any questions. It says some of the do's, like stay your quarantine and stay safe Cayman app promptly when you get your location. Blah blah blah. Don't leave quarantine location. I think that's the first thing you don't want to do. Wander too far from the mobile device. Attempt to remove, trim, or cut the wristband. So all that. It's a lot of useful information on this piece of paper. My experience has been so far so good with Travel Cayman. You know, no issues. You know, they called me a few times. They've checked on me a few times as well, or once actually. So yeah, getting tested tomorrow, guys. and then I will be free. And then Gab will come back here, and then yeah, I'll be free. So that'll be great, guys. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching and enjoying my videos and content. For all those new subscribers, welcome again to the channel. My name is Evan, and I make vlogs about our life here in Grand Cayman with myself and Gabby, my fiance. Hope you enjoy, guys, and take care. All the best.